Yo, what's going on, guys? iFlume here, back like I never left, and today, guys, once again coming at you guys with a brand new video. But in this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a clean Fortnite thumbnail. So this isn't too over the top. It's just a really simple, clean thumbnail that you guys can make. So make sure you just follow along all the steps. So what you guys will be needing is some sort of Photoshop. I've got Photoshop CC. I think it's 2017. I'm not sure. I have one of the versions. So all you need is some sort of Photoshop. I'm pretty sure it runs like the same on most Photoshops. So as long as you have some sort of Photoshop, you should be able to follow along pretty normally. So basically, we're going to be making a thumbnail sort of like this. So with like this little blur effect on, I guess you could call it, with like some glow in the corner. Kind of like a Dakota style, but not fully his style because he's got his own little style. You know, you don't want to copy that. You want to have your own style when making thumbnails. So this is basically what it's going to look like. Some nice colourful text, some little images. So this is one I made for a friend not that long ago. So it was his first video, so I just created the thumbnail for him. Nice and simple. It took me like 5 minutes to make, so hopefully it can take you guys that long. So make sure you follow along all the steps and it will not be too hard. So like all other, when you're making a thumbnail, you want to start off by making a new and making sure it is the width 1280 by 720. Leave the resolution however yours is. Make sure it is on RGB color, background transparent, and just leave everything the same. Just basically copy everything down that I have here. So hit OK once you've made that. For some reason I made one already, but you want to have some along the lines of this showing up. If it's like a little box or some different dimensions, just try typing it again, but like with these two around, so 720 on the bottom, make sure 1280 is on the top. So once you've done that, you want to pick your image. So I'm going to go to my image folders, and I'm going to use this image as an example. I want to accept it, and obviously this one has no HUD, so if you get a screenshot from like a game or something, yours will most likely, if I use this one for example, it will have like all this stuff here, the ammo, like just everything around here. So that does look quite ugly in thumbnail, so I'd suggest when you go to take the screenshot or whatever, make sure you have the HUD disabled for this clean look, so you don't have all that text going around it. But that's not a problem if you do have it. Just zoom in a bit. I'll do an example here, so I'll just open an image, just like this one for example. Wait, let me get this on here. So as you see here, it looks quite ugly like this, so you don't want to have it like that. So I want to click Control T, make sure you hold Shift and just drag it out just a little bit. Just do as good as you can. Obviously this is a very pixely image when you zoom in, so you want to zoom in as much as you can before it doesn't look too ugly. Maybe just give it a little bit of a rotation and just try to fit it as best as you can without getting like the map and everything in. So we're gonna have to zoom it in even more, and yeah, just zoom in as best you can. Obviously this looks really terrible, so I would recommend definitely trying to get rid of the HUD. So I'm gonna get rid of that because we definitely don't want that. So back to this image, I'm basically going to do the same thing. So you want to hit Control T and just zoom in your image just so it looks a bit more cinematic like. Maybe give it a little bit of a rotation, like not too much, just the slightest bit. We're going to do that and click tick. So I'm going to do the text kind of towards the end. So basically what I'd like to do first is we're going to zoom in here on this guy here. And basically I'm going to go around him and cut him out so I can do the blur effect on the background and not have him be blurred out. So I'm going to quickly do that. So basically what you guys want to do is select the pen tool, and you want to take your time. I'm going to rush this simply for the video's purpose, but you want to take your time in making sure all the edges are lined up nice and good like I'm doing here. So what you want to do is you want to just kind of do the curves like that, and you want to hold Alt and then click on the middle one to get rid of the that little line, because otherwise if you don't, and say you do that and you want to do the next one, it does this weird curve effect. So you don't want that to happen, so you just hold Alt when you want to select it. So you want to hold Alt and then click on that. Oh, you don't do it like that. You want to hold Alt and click on it like that, and yeah, I'm just going to go around the outside. So feel free to do this with me if you're trying to cut something out, or you can skip this part if you feel like it. So once you guys are up to the last dot, you want to simply click on the very first one you've done, and you should have an image that kind of like selects itself, and you should be able to see all the little dots individually. So now guys, once you've done that and you're happy with it, this is just a really shitty job. As you can see, I could have gone a bit closer towards the border and get some of the grass out, but you guys can take your time on it. I'm not going to do that. So you want to hit select. You want to make sure everything is how it's shown here, 0 feather radius, and just hit OK. And then from there, it should get a little mask outline. You want to hit Control J like that, and it should single out the layer so it's just on its own. I'd recommend doing this, guys. So just get rid of the main layer so you can just see that, and then just go around with like the erase tool and just clean everything up. Make sure it looks as nice as possible. I guess I could do that for you guys. So I'm just gonna zoom in on here. So obviously you don't want the middle of the gun to look like that. So you want to get the eraser. Get it down to a bit, oh my. Get it down to nice and small. You just want to take your time on erasing all this. Obviously I don't have full amount of time, so I'm just going to rush this completely. But guys, I guess you get the gist of it. Just take your time, go around whatever you're trying to cut out, whatever image you're trying to cut out, and just take your time and erase the ugly bits of it. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit we're going to go down to the background layer, so the layer with that is not this one here, so the whatever image you're using. We're going to go to filter, blur, and then go to Gaussian blur, and you can just play around with this. It comes into personal preference. I don't like it, holy moly, I don't like it blurred out too much. Around the 4 area, I reckon 2 to 4 is probably what you want to go for. So I'm going to go for 3.8. Just do whatever you feel is the best thing for you. So as you can see here, the guy stands out quite nicely, but we're not done with that, so I'm going to leave that how it is. So your thing should be looking like that. So now we're going to move on to the text. So I will have the font that I use linked in the description. So what you guys are going to want to do is get the font Plumpful. I'll have it linked in the description. So just go to that link and download this font. I quite like it for Fortnite thumbnails. I think it looks quite cartoonish and it looks quite nice with thumbnails. So you want to type whatever your thumbnail's going to be. So I'll just do title. And then I'll just go to another layer and then I'll do like text or something, because you might have 2 lines, you might have 1, it's up to you. And you just want to play around this a little bit. So I'll just try, how big is 50? 50 is way too big, so 40, yeah, 40 looks nice. So I'm gonna just line it up how you think you'd want it. Just play around with this. This comes down to personal preference, and just simply play around with it. I'm just gonna do this one probably like 35 to 40. So yeah, it's just this quite nice font. Looks quite it kind of suits the style of thumbnail that we're going for. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna go around. Fix a few things up, make this guy a little bit bigger. Looks about good. Let me just move him around a bit. So now it just comes down to like messing around with the thumbnail, make it look as good as you possibly can make it. Just gonna get an image here. I'll just drag that in of like a little explosion. Now this is just personal preference. I quite like the look of this. That looks good about there, and obviously that stands out way too much, so I want to turn the opacity down just the slightest bit, so it kind of just fades into the background like so. Maybe give it some sort of drop shadow or outer glow to old mate over here. About outer glow, how does that look? Doesn't look too bad actually. So just play around with the colour. Looks nice. I often like to go with oranges or reds for Fortnite, so I might go with a kind of, yeah, it looks nice. We're gonna go with that, and then so that looks quite nice there. And you want to also go to the download description and get this 0.5k texture pack looking thing for so it's just basically little graphics that I actually use on my thumbnails to make them look just a little bit cleaner. So you want to come down to flares. I have seen this in one other thumbnail tutorial as well, so credit to that dude for showing me this pack, but I quite like it. So there's these little like flare looking things, so you want to just drag it into your, once you've downloaded it, just drag it in. You want to just, I'm just going to zoom out a bit. Oh, that's good enough actually. So Dakota's kind of had this like little this glow effect on his thumbnails, so it's kind of where this inspiration has come from. So just put it up in the corner, don't have it so it's like overpowering the whole thing. Put it up in the corner like so, like that, and then just duplicate the layer. Obviously it looks way too bright, so you want to flip it around and get it as square as you can to it, and then just chuck it in the other corner opposite to it like so. And I might leave it like that, so it kind of puts the glow effect on the guy, makes him look a bit more blended and blends him in a little bit more. But we're not done with the pack, so I want to go to it. I'm going to close that. I'm going to go down to particles, brackets unique, and you want to find, hold up, let me just turn the flares off. And you want to find this one here, it's the top one. Oh, not what we want. Drag it in, like so, and just put it however you want it. I'm just going to chuck chuck these little particle things over the top of this guy like that. Actually no, it doesn't look too good. I'm going to drag it below him, so it has this like little kind of beam effect on it. I quite like the look of it. That's just how I'll use that. And then I'm going to close out of that. I'm going to get back to the text, so I'm going to go to the blending options of the top one. So title. Actually, I'm going to drag this up there. Obviously, you can neaten this out a bit more. It's kind of all over the place. You can put it into folders and stuff. You're going to edit the title, whatever text you have. I'll show you the kind of things I like to do with the text for my thumbnails to give it a clean look. So I'm going to go to gradient overlay, and you can follow these colors here. So I like the blues and the aqua and the blue to kind of counter this like orange thing we've got going on here. So you can just copy these colors if you want. Just type these letters in. Just pause the video. Ooh, like that. Yeah, just pause the video, and if you want to copy these colors here. So I got that going on there. So we could do a drop shadow. How's the outer glow look? No, I don't like the outer glow. Stroke, definitely not. I guess we could go with that drop shadow. It looks kind of clean. We're not going with some too over the top text. Now, just chilling with this. Now we're going to edit the bottom text, so title text, make it a little bit bigger. No, I don't really like the look of that. Just chuck it just below it, I guess. Have it nice and centered up. Okay, that looks good. go to blending options, like so. A tiny bit of a drop shadow to it, and then gradient overlay. We could have the same sort of colours, but I think we should switch it up to purples maybe. How about change that? Go. How's that look? Guess we do a little bit better than that. Try it a bit lighter. I think that looks quite nice. Goes with the background quite well. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when doing this little color, make sure you have it on around the 60s to 70s in the opacity, because if you have it to 100, it doesn't look that clean. It looks quite ugly. So I'd chuck it around. I'd like to put it on 61. That is personal preference though, so I chuck it on that. And for the drop shadow, I have the opacity around about 80. And then just follow these little things, so 8, 9, and then the size on 0. Just leave it how it is. So yeah, we could add some images like this little YouTube one. I guess if you guys want, I could do that. So I'll do an example of this image actually. I'll grab a scar. So I'll include some of these if we reach 10 likes. I will do a little download thing for this. So I'll show what I do for the items when you want to make them glow, like have them quite nice. So I'm just gonna size this out a bit more. I'm gonna zoom, yeah, okay, place. Zoom this back in. So just fit it on the screen here. I'm gonna have the scar on top of the text. Get a little bit smaller. We'll put that just like that. And we're going to follow along with the theme, so it's kind of like an orange sort of theme. So we're going to go down to outer glow, and then just hit outer glow. And so what we want to do for this, have the opacity on 39, noise 0, and make it kind of like an orange, like the same orange as like an in-game legendary weapon. So I have it on this, whatever this number is here. You can just pause the video and copy down whatever color it is. So cancel because I liked how it was. So that's basically it for that, and you're basically left with a really clean thumbnail for Fortnite. So guys, like I said before, 10 likes and I will make this available for download. So you just have to come into the Photoshop file and then just click on the title and then just edit the text and make it your own. So if you guys have enjoyed, make sure to drop a like on this video. I did put some effort into making these thumbnails, so do want to see more Photoshop tutorials, making some more thumbnails or something like that. I can definitely do that for you guys. So definitely stay on the lookout for more videos like this. And yeah guys, if you did enjoy, drop a like as always. And yeah guys, see you in the next one. Peace.